5 games to go for the Carolina Panthers, and we have your midweek check-in to talk thing. Oh, fuck. 5 games to go for the Carolina Panthers as they sit at 3-9. They're not technically eliminated from the playoffs, but they need a lot of things to happen. And, well, coming up this week, they're going to be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the best teams in the NFC, as well as one of the best teams in the NFL. But today we are here to get you caught up on all the midweek news that's happened up until this point. We will be back later this week to get you prepared for the game on Sunday. It's going to be a big matchup. And to be honest, I'm not looking forward to what Saquon Barkley may potentially do to the Carolina Panthers defense. I don't want to know. This rushing attack is one of the worst in the NFL, and this is a recipe for disaster for the Carolina Panthers. If you have Saquon Barkley on your fantasy football team, I got to say, you got to be feeling good. You would have to have a miracle for the Panthers to magically be able to stop him. They're giving up 160 yards per game. That's the average. And if the average maintains and holds through the rest of the season, they would be around 12th all time in the entire NFL in yards allowed on the ground. Now, I know we have the extra game, but that doesn't matter, man. That is a lot. It's a bad rushing attack. And for me, I posted a video about it. You can go back and watch it. I think this is the end for Ejiro Evero, no matter what happens. I wish him the best. But for me, I think the writing's on the wall. Like, Dave Canales is going to get his guy. He's going to find the defensive coordinator that he wants to work with. He may switch to a 4-3. There's a lot of change. We know we have to invest heavily on the defensive side of the ball. So it's going to be important in my mind, knowing that Evero probably will be out, could have the opportunity to get a head coaching shot or another chance as a defensive coordinator. He has been coveted as a coordinator. People wanted to interview him last year. We denied it. We kept him. We retained him. But at this point, just knowing that it's just not working, and even going back to last year when the team was healthy and you did have some pretty good pieces around him, we weren't the best defense. I think a lot of times we hang our hats on the fact that we were top 5 in yards allowed, but then look over how bad we were against pretty much every other statistical category. The passing, for whatever reason, the passing defense last year wasn't bad at all. It's pretty good. So with that said, we are here to get you caught up on all things Panthers news and not just talk about some of the game that's happening. But I think it's significant to continue to talk about the status of Ejiro Evero. And I don't think anything would happen until whatever is it called, Black Monday, after the season ends. That's where my head is right now. But we do have something to talk about from the game the other night, and that was the catch that was not a catch and the camera angles. And I don't know where the additional camera angle came from, but for whatever reason, at the time, Adam Thielen's catch, they did not have an angle for us to view to see if he caught this ball. Somehow, magically, after all this comes out, a new camera angle emerges. Now, that camera angle could have been from someone on the Panthers social team, the Panthers media team that recorded that. And so it was not an NFL operating camera. That's one thing I'll acknowledge, because I do believe this video came through the Adam Thielen mic'd up clip from YouTube. And so if that is content that Panthers social owns, that's not something that they would be able to pass along to the NFL. The NFL has their own equipment or, camera set up, so it wouldn't have been passed. But either way, it looked like a catch. Now, I will be honest with you, as much as I want this to be a catch, thinking if this was even reviewed and we had this angle, it's like a semi-small-ish bobble, in my opinion. I'm not saying it was or wasn't, as Adam kind of re-grips the ball. I don't know if that would have been enough, but needless to say, Dave Canales and company submitted a request back to the NFL to get a response. We'll wait and see. I mean, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to overturn. At this point, it's just a bummer, because if the Panthers convert there, get a touchdown, maybe to get a field goal, they win that game. They were the better team the whole way. And you could be talking about playoffs. You could be talking about closing the season out at 9-8, or I mean, I don't want to look past Philadelphia because Philadelphia is good, but you could close the season out a little bit stronger. But hey, you know what? We'll take it. Take it in stride. That's what we got to do as Panthers fans. You get really excited, and then you have your heart just ripped out in front of you. But here we are, folks. And today we got to hear from Dave Canales. I don't think there was anything earth shattering. I think the most positive news that we've gotten is that Jalen Coker is back at practice. So remember, Coker had an injury coming out of the bye. He's actually feeling pretty good, but just had a setback in practice. And so he's working his way back. Sounds like I don't know if they'll officially say it, but should be good to go for Sunday. And Jadavian Sanders is back at practice in a red jersey. Limited, but we'll see if he ends up making the cut to start on Sunday. I wouldn't hold my breath on him. I would not be surprised if they hold him out another week, considering the severity. And I mean, I know we don't know too much about it, but just all the circumstances and knowing, unfortunately, that it's just not meaningful football. You want to protect the health and safety of your player going forward. And he's a key piece to this team in the future in the franchise. So it's no reason to rush him out there and let him get concussed again or hit or hurt if it's not necessary. One player who is back, is healthy, has been out there, is Jonathan Brooks. And you wonder, at least I do, if Dave Canales is going to try to get back to the run game. Now, I know they were stacking the box on a lot of the plays. You know, the last few weeks, they've really been forcing Bryce Young to throw. Like, they've been testing him and saying, hey, we're going to stack the box. We're not going to allow you to run the ball, which we haven't seen Chuba Hubbard have, a good game the last 2 weeks. And we're going to force you to throw. And that's what Bryce Young has done. But even knowing that, you have to wonder about the number of pass attempts versus the number of rush attempts. Because to be honest, I mean, I love Bryce Young. I love what he's done over these last few weeks. But he can't be throwing the ball 40 plus attempts per game, and then Chuba Hubbard and or Jonathan Brooks only getting 20-ish touches amongst themselves. It's unbalanced. And I think looking into this week, it's going to be hard. You're talking about, I know we're over here talking about the rushing attack, but the Philadelphia Eagles have a really good defense as well. And so for me, I would love to see us rely on it. Be stubborn. That's what he said he wanted to be in Dave Canales. He wanted to be stubborn with the run. Let's be a man of our word this week and get back to, I'd say like 45, 50% I'd be okay with, but not this 30, 60 lopsided, just so out of whack number. I want to see him be much more effective. And so, anyways, 5 games to go. And I just did another video of expectations for the Panthers for the rest of the year. And I want to see them win some football games. This week might not be the week, but you close this out. You still have Dallas. You still have Arizona. You still have 2 divisional games. You got Tampa and Atlanta. Out of that group, it'd be nice to win 2 more games, possibly 3. If they could go on a stretch, win 3 out of the last 4, that is not going to affect them too much when it comes to the draft and their draft positioning. A 5 or 6 win team very much will likely be in the top 10, possibly even the top 5, just given the state of the NFL right now. So, yeah, let's close this thing out knowing that Bryce Young is going to be our quarterback. That's all I ask. Go into the offseason, reevaluate the defense, figure out what the heck's going on there, what do we want to do, and move forward. So I believe, and I'll check my notes, those were really the biggest headlines. The only other one I think, which I didn't talk about, was Sam Franklin's post-game locker incident, which I talked about on the live stream. He wanted to go over there and fight people. He did issue an apology for the Panthers, for himself, for the organization today. So that statement was made. I love his fight. He does it on the field. He likes to talk. That's who he is. He's a good piece on the special teams unit. But I agree, got to tone it down. We lost. The Panthers beat themselves. Going to fight the Tampa Bay, if they're celebrating, if they're doing whatever, you can't do that. I love the fire, the energy. That's something that you have to do on the field. Okay, just got to leave it there. So that was it. I don't think you're going to really hear anything else out of that. But that'll wrap it for your mid-week update for Carolina Panthers news. And I will continue to update y'all on X. It's the best place to find me. And we'll be back with the preview against the Philadelphia Eagles coming up shortly this week. So anyways, that's going to do it, CD. Y'all have a good one.